Hi, this is Amy. I'm using nearpod today, and I just wanted to show you how I use the add-on for nearpod, and then also how I create a presentation in a different way. So I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these lessons I'm going to be using. I just made a short lesson. It just has 3 slides on it. What I'm going to do is show you how you can use the nearpod add-on to create a quick presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to add-ons here. I'm going to use 3 tools to do the draw it slide, the poll or quiz slide, and then also a open-ended slide. So I'm just going to say, let's make this first one a draw slide. So any content that you have that you would want students to write on, maybe highlight, um, or even they can type text into that. I'm going to make this one a draw it slide. So Nearpod's going to work on that. And so what it's doing is it's making that first slide into a draw it slide. The next question I have is a starter for this lesson. What I might do is add a poll to this. The difference between a poll and a quiz, a poll is just going to show you how what students responded versus a quiz would mark it right or wrong. So I just want students to answer number 1, and I'll put the options in. And then we'll save that. And then my third slide, what I'm going to do is just have this being like an open-ended question. Students are going to be working on questions in a packet, numbers 1 to 8. So when they're finished, I would want to see their results. So I'm going to do an open-ended question for this one and have them type in their answers. And I'll save. And there's a lot of different features in Nearpod. I'm just highlighting 3 of them today. But once you're finished, you'll go save and go to Nearpod. And then it's going to open up this presentation there, and we can preview it. So here we'll see, here's our lesson that we just created, and we'll take a look at the preview. And this is using the Nearpod add-on in Google Slides. So there you can see there's my first screen, and then it makes it into a draw screen. Then here's my question for the poll, and then students can then take the poll. And then the third one was the open-ended question, so it tells students what to do, and then they'll be able to answer their question. There's another way that I like to create Nearpod presentations. It takes a little bit more work before presenting, but once I have that all done, it makes it a little bit easier for me. So let me show you how I do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these slides. So I'm back to my original, and I'm just going to download it as a PowerPoint. I basically want to download each slide as a picture file, so I could do that here. But when I download it as a PowerPoint, I can download all of my slides. So if you had, say, 10 or 20 slides that you wanted to save all at once, this seems to make it a little bit easier to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do File, Save As, and right down here is where I'm going to save it as a JPEG. It's going to create a folder of all of my slides as picture files, which makes this really nice when we go to now upload them into Nearpod. I'm going to close this one out. And now on my desktop, I have the folder that has the pictures there of my slides. And why I like to do it this way is now if I go into here and do create, I'm going to do create a lesson in Nearpod. If I add a slide, Here you could pick add activity, and I'm going to make it a draw it side. And I'm able to now add a reference image. So I've now downloaded that file as a picture file, so I can put that here, or you can also put it as a background image. So depending on what the content is that you're teaching, you may want to just save it as a picture file so then students can draw right on top of that. I'm going to save that. And I like to have any content side, I like to just have a draw it side because in the middle of instruction, if you decide you want to ask a quick question verbally, you could then have the students write their answer on the screen. I'm going to add now the poll. So I'm going to add the poll for the starter question. And over here, you can add a timer. And then again, I'm going to use that reference image so it's right there when the students are answering it. So I'm going to put here number 1 and then their answer choices. And we're going to save. So then this way I would instruct students to answer number 1 for the poll, and I'll show you what that looks like when we're finished. I'm going to then add and you can add web content, just content slides if you wanted students to view that. And there's a lot of different activities through nearpod. Depending on the license that you have, you may have more options than me. I'm using the gold right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do the open-ended. And I'm going to use that last slide that I had on my presentation that instructs students to complete numbers 1 to 8. You can also add a timer if you wish. And then you can just add questions if you wanted to without any pictures or anything. If I just want to add, I could add here a quiz or a matching pairs problem. There's a lot of different features here, but if I wanted to do another poll or a collaborate board, this one's really nice. So I might use this for my exit ticket for today. So how can you check to make sure your answer is correct when solving an equation? And you can make it so that it's you moderate it as well. It's sort of like Padlet. And I'll be able to moderate this, and then all of the student slides will be able to come up at the end. You can move these in whatever order you like. When you're finished, you're going to go to save. So I'm going to call this lesson 9 for algebra. And then we'll be able to preview it here. So let me just go back to this one here so we can preview this one. This was the old one we did with the add-on. Then let me go into the new one that we just made. So here you can see, here's my first slide. And this way the draw it slide is right there. So when I go to say highlight important text, and then students would hit submit. I did read in the add-on updates that they are working on getting this so that it seems more like this. The poll question that students are going to complete for the starter, they can now, because I've saved it as an individual slide, they can click on it right there and see it, and then they can go ahead and answer. And then the open-ended question, again, I have that picture file right there. So this way it makes it a little bit more easier for students to complete the question as they can see it. So please let me know if you have any questions using Nearpod. Feel free to email me and have a great day. Thanks.